Hello and welcome to the AllMadeUp podcast with me, Harry Stachini.
Me, Lewis Coleman.
And Ben Hart's on his way.
He's on his way.
The show where each week a guest joins us in the writer's room to create a story like you and we have never heard before.
Not quite knowing what's around the corner or what we'll find along the way, as this podcast is exactly what it says on the tin.
It's all made up. Don't ever touch me again. It was the grip round the back of the neck.
Fucking love you, lad. All right. Fucking love you.
Oh, I'll tell you what, that was, I don't know how that's going to look. But
It was intense.
I said before, I was like, maybe don't wear the beanie. If you wore the beanie, you fully adopted this hard man feel. I hope you've enjoyed that, watching it. This is what happened when Ben isn't here. I just get battered. But I hope you had a good week, good day. Depends when you're listening to this. But yeah, we've had a good week.
Why has it been so good? What's been good for you?
I had some nice gigs in Sheffield at the City Hall.
Yeah, I seen that. Was that a last minute thing?
Yeah, last minute thing at the last laugh. Basically I got it on like Tuesday, and I was on with.
Did you hear? I don't know if you heard that or he got picked up a microphone.
Yeah, but my guts.
Yeah, just try to get on third microphone.
Yeah, that was someone else that I actually thought, I might shit.
Yeah.
But I was on with Michael Fabry, Ricky Bolshaw, and who closed? Jesus Christ, who closed?
That's bad. If you're listening,
totally slipped my mind. It was Duncan Oakley. Who
plays the guitar.
Yeah, plays the guitar. Good act, very good act, and it was nice. I've done that gig a few times, and it's like a big theatre space. I've done it with 30 people in, and the busiest I did it was 250 the other day. And it was pleasant.
So why was it like a last minute thing? Was you an afterthought or someone dropped out and it was
probably a bit of both, mate.
Who was it supposed to be?
It's all right. Get a rise out of me on camera. That's absolutely fine.
You want to tell you what's mad? Us talking to each other, sat this way, communicating like that.
This is what news anchors do. And here's Ben with the weather. Basically, there was a big works doing. But having a Christmas do, but in January, and obviously being the first week back into first week into the new year, you'd expect it to be empty and everyone to be a bit like, but it wasn't like. I was like, who's doing dry Jan? No one.
No,
apart from me.
I thought he was on about a woman then called Jan.
Yeah. No, there was a lady
who's doing dry Jan.
Yeah.
Not a nice nickname.
Yeah, menopause, it happens. But there was a lady sat at the front who it's a nice feel, and there was lots of families there, but like 3 generations of one family.
Yeah.
So a nana was sat opposite her grandson, and she had a bit about her. I liked her, and her son also called me a cunt. yeah. Scott, if you're watching, words hurt.
I like that. I like that he had the confidence to do that. And how did you respond? Why did he call you that?
I think he was just feeling a bit bold, wasn't he?
Oh, right, on his way out.
Yeah. But when he said it, I looked at his mum. I was like, "You're gonna stand for that?" And she was like, "Oof." And she brushed him off, and I was like, "See, even your mum's disappointed." It was a nice bit of crowd work. But the point being is, it was so unwarranted for him to call me it. I was like, "Where does that come from?" But yeah, one of them. But it was a nice weekend, and I've got loads of gigs coming up, which I'm looking forward to. But it was just nice to start the year on a nice gig.
Yeah. What did I do this week? Carried on with me running. Did just short of 11k yesterday on my program. So
when you mean just short, like 4?
yeah. No, did about 10.78 or something like that.
Oh, that's decent. What's your time?
I don't know. I was going on it was saying, don't worry about the time, just go at a pace which is steady. It was like I'd say 5.5 minutes, 5 minutes 45 per k, up to 6. I think my slowest one was 6 minutes 4. But
that's that, mate.
Yeah, we'll get in there. Are you going to do this half marathon?
I'm going to do a half marathon. Yeah, I don't know.
Listeners, right? So basically, I've offered Harry to do a half marathon, and he says, "I'm better to see what my brothers say." That's what you said.
Yeah, because they invited me to one, and I was like, I'm not doing 2 half marathons, mate. I might as well do a marathon. You know what I mean? What are you doing this year? I'll just 2 halves. Yeah, why not a full one? They're too big. So basically, the one they're looking at, they've now double booked, so they'll get me another date. But there's better places to run around than Wigan. You know what I mean? The place I was got told was in the Yorkshire Dales. I'm like, I'd rather do that where it's a bit scenic. You know what I mean? I don't want to be running past terraced houses.
Galloway's pasties.
Yeah,
and pies.
Yeah, exactly. Knowing where you're going to finish after.
You know when you're running around and they're giving you drinks and waters, and they're just giving you
overall.
Yeah. Throwing it in face.
But my question to you is, right, obviously, Sam the Man had a games night on Friday.
Board game, yeah.
Yeah. So my housemate, Sam, having a games night, Lewis messages him saying, I want to get involved. And when Sam told me this, I was like, should you not be gigging on a Friday, mate?
What do you mean? Comedy gigging?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm back into it this year.
He is.
I'm back into the stand-up this year. I'm
funny
telling
man.
you.
A funny man.
I've been writing today when I've been at work.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I've been doing a bit of writing. But yeah, I'm excited to get back into it.
Are we having any in Jan that we're going to do?
Yeah, I think I've applied for a couple. I've just not. Yeah.
Right,
I'm just gonna hear back.
Keeping it on the down low. That's all.
Yeah, that's it.
I was like, mate, he wants to be gigging. I was like, well, you should be playing June.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah. It looked shit.
Right. So I'm into board games. Anything. I said to Sam, anything where there's like where I can be competitive and like annoying.
Yeah.
Like
win the intro.
Yeah. Win the intro. Yeah. But yeah, I do like my board games. But we could talk about that later. I reckon we need to tell the listeners, viewers, who our guest is for today.
Yeah. Well, one of them is Ben Hart.
Yeah.
He is on his way, and he's actually travelling in with Alfie Carter, who is our guest for today. A very funny comedian, kind of new to the scene in Manchester, but I described him as like he's a bit like Bill Bailey in his style.
Yeah,
I think that's a good analogy there. But
I don't think he's bringing any instrument. Can he play instruments?
I don't know. He might do. But smart lad, good football player as well. We play football with
tenacity.
him.
I played with him last week, and he did have tenacity. That's what I'll say.
He just keeps going.
Yeah.
But yeah, very creative on stage, very funny, and we're excited to have him on the podcast. So our guest for today is the brilliant Alfie Carter.
Enjoy this one. Okay, just enjoy it.
Yeah. What a treat. Have you farted? No. Oh, really?
Why?
It smells of fart.
Yeah, you farted before.
Right.
Yeah, we've got it.
We're done.
It's AllMadeUp up again. It's AllMadeUp up again. It's AllMadeUp up again. It's AllMadeUp up again.
And we're back with the brilliant Alfie Carter.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Harry. It's been a lovely day. I'm slightly worried that I might smell like naan bread because I got some naan bread on the way here, and then
You just naan bread.
well, it was on the reduced in the Sainsbury's outside my main. It was 42 pence for 2 large sort of slabs. And then I was
Slab of naan bread.
So you've had it cold as well.
cold, and also not only cold, but because it was reduced, it's part. This is it's on its last legs as well.
Yeah.
It's very brittle, and but yeah, so I was feeling a bit down on myself as I got on the bus. Though this is why I sort of feel quite good. Is my card broke the whole electrical system on the bus, so I put my card on. The lights went out, the whole thing shut down, and I didn't have to pay. So we drove all the way through here in complete darkness. Because the driver just had to keep going.
Really?
Yeah, he
Didn't stop for anybody.
Well, no, he could let people. He was sort of still letting people on.
Oh right, I thought like
Because
the doors stopped as well when electrics went.
Hey, on that
It's all
road as well,
lights.
that self-made road for the bus. I bet it was scary on there in the dark, wasn't it?
It was really intense because he came up and found me at the back of the bus. He was like, "Look, can you come back down and try and use your card again in front of everyone?" He's a very angry man.
It might reset the fuse.
Yeah, that's what he thought.
all the electric goes back out his car.
It's called Chip and Dim.
Oh,
Yeah, you like that one?
Nice.
No, but carry on, Al.
He just turned the whole bus on and off again. Like he did the old school thing and it didn't work. He's very upset with me as well, which I felt was a bit uncouth. Yeah, because I was just I just tried to pay.
It's not your fault, pal. Is it?
That's exactly my point.
I'm also here as well. I wasn't here for the intro.
Yeah.
Just let's say that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't here. Yeah, these lads just recorded the intro without me.
It's because we were a bit pushed for time. That was all.
Yeah.
And we've.
They're trying to phase me out, Alfie.
I'm not trying to phase you out.
I'll be sort of halfway through the story next time. Here he is.
The camera's not even pointed on you.
That's not even on.
Yeah. But that sounds like a bit of a journey, mate.
It was exciting, and then I missed my stop because it didn't announce where I was. So Ben had told me, "Oh, it says stop," but then it didn't say when, and wherever I was. So I ended up in the bus station, and I ran all the way here.
You ran it here from bus station?
Yeah, because it said like I looked at my phone. I was like,
Yeah.
5 minutes. It was like half an hour walk.
Being chased by the bus driver.
All the way through Lee.
I'm glad I didn't wait for you because it would look like a ghost bus going past, wouldn't it? All this dark
Yeah.
bus.
Getting a stitch with naan bread in system.
Yeah.
It was that happened.
So that's
it was bad. I
You
was
laugh
like
about it,
hobbling
you know?
along.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it's not funny, a stitch.
A lot of gluten in the bread.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, well,
And that's been your tea.
Yeah, that's been my tea.
Nice.
Two whole slabs, as I said. Like it's sufficient.
Student life.
Student life.
Yeah.
42 pence, two breads.
What's the standard student dinner? Because obviously you are a student. You're a student of philosophy, aren't you?
Yeah, maths. So my degree is like maths and philosophy. So it's like half and half. But the philosophy, the way they do it, you can kind of not go to anything at all. And then in the exam,
And just get it.
Yeah.
and then in the essays, they just ask you a question and you just go and read it. You know, just
Yeah.
cheat basically. Yeah, that's what I do. A student meal. I ate a lot of rice. I go through a lot of rice.
That's,
Right.
I find that quite interesting, maths and philosophy, though, because obviously maths is a very exact, isn't it?
Mhm.
And philosophy couldn't be less exact. It's all about sort of, obviously it's open to interpretation, isn't it? Whereas
Yeah,
maths
well,
isn't necessarily open to interpretation, is it? Like
Or is it?
Well,
that is the question.
that's
Shakespeare,
what the thing about philosophy, which I think a lot of people don't realize, because they're scrolling through sort of Instagram things, and they'll see a picture of a forest, and it will say, you know, every moment you can change, every path goes everywhere. But when you're actually studying philosophy, it's really, really boring. Like, it's just sort of old men saying, well, what is time? And then you just spend ages saying, well, could it be this? And they, no. It's actually really really specific.
Yeah.
It's like very argumentative.
Yeah.
So it's sorry, Ben.
You
but
could have
it's,
been more
it's the complete opposite.
Right, you know.
A lot of people think that. So it's a strange
Well,
thing.
that's good because we've had a question about it then, and we've answered it together. So we've made progress. You'd love that, wouldn't you? You'd love philosophy, I reckon.
Yeah,
He's
mate.
trying.
Yeah, I'm trying. I
Victorious.
was trying to tell Alfie about a book I've been reading, and I thought this guy's name was Epictetus. And what's his name?
Epictetus, I think,
Yeah,
was the
fucking
one.
mouthful that.
Yeah,
but
a lot of
his book's
cheese.
good.
He only
No
reads books
pictures.
about Bolsheviks. That's all he reads books about the Bolsheviks. And
I read the Gulag Archipelago, which was fascinating. But yeah, it wasn't very philosophical.
What's that about?
It's about socialism and communists and famine. It's a bit bleak, right? But yeah, let's
yeah, this
You
week.
know
Thanks
what?
for joining us this
It
week.
was- yeah. Let's move on. You know what I mean? We've started with stale naan bread and then genocide.
But before we even got rolling, Alfie was asked, for whatever reason, what ages he thought we all were. I thought that was quite interesting. And he said, I look the oldest. Now, I don't think I do, unless I'm in denial. It's my hairdo, I think, today, because of how wild my hair's been.
I look younger than you.
You don't look younger than me. If
I
you
look
did a
younger
poll
than
of
you.
100
Harry
people,
looks younger. Lewis,
there's not a chance in the world you look younger
But I look
than
younger
me.
than I look younger than both of you.
You've caught me on a bad day, Alf. You've caught me on a bad day.
I don't know. Maybe the glasses obscure the wrinkles. Lewis, I just feel like
Whoa!
It's
Put it
still-
back on. What the hell, lad? He just took his glasses off.
What is it about me that makes me look older in comparison to these? Go on, be brutal.
I don't. Lewis, I don't want you. I don't want to.
No, go on, just do it.
Your hairline's going back, kind of in the corners. Harry's just like.
Yeah,
Put
mine's
your
going.
head down now.
but his
Put
isn't
your head down now.
ambiguous.
He's going bald on top.
I'm thickening actually on the top now.
If he bent down, it'd blind you.
Like a pyramid.
See,
Yeah, but it's the kind of air of the hair. It just
Yeah.
sort of feels a bit sort of
Weathered,
brittle.
yeah.
it smells of
Feel
Werther's
that.
Originals.
Feel that. Not nowhere near with that. That's stay with me.
That is thick.
The grey, I don't know, it's probably an aesthetic thing.
It's the decor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you worry about getting older?
Nah, I don't know. I think I'll find it fun. Like everything's like, because realistically, if you compare what it's like being 21 to being 4 years old, it's way worse. Like, because when you're 4, you can just do whatever, you roll around or anything. And now I've got to sort of buy naan bread and upset a bus driver.
Yeah.
I mean, if you tell that to a 4-year-old, a large mank man is going to chase you down on a bus and point you out. I mean, it'd be horrifying. But I handled that today. So I just feel like by the time I'm 60, I'll just handle those qualms.
Oh, you've just grown. If it happens again, you can handle
I
that.
take it day by day.
I think stuff like that all the time though. Like I was in do you know the Wharf in Castlefield?
Oh, I love the pub.
Yeah, it's nice pub, right? Loads of nice ales. But I was sat in there with Sam. This was like a couple of months ago.
But we weren't invited,
And,
were
fuck off the berry.
Harry keeps going places and doesn't invite us.
But
Friends.
me and Sam, this is going to sound a bit odd, this, but we were sat there, we'd had a few beers, and there was loads of families coming through, and there was a little girl, probably about 3 years old, like stood on her dad's feet, and he's holding her hands, and she's like walking around, and me and Sam were just like people watching, and this little girl's having a whale of a time, and it's a Sunday when we're having this beer, and I said to Sam, I was like, she's got nothing to do tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like her life is just so in the now. You know what I mean? She's not worrying about rent. You know, she's got nothing on finance. She's just walking on her dad's feet. And me and Sam are just sat there with a pint glass going, God, I wish I was that.
And you resented it.
You are.
She's at home doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He resented it, yeah.
Conversation earlier. That's a bit of a throwback to before we
Yeah,
start recording.
that was an in joke that no one's going to get. But yeah, do you ever think that, like, just the idea of how present kids are?
But I think it can kind of go the opposite way. Like if you see a child drop an ice cream, they start howling and screaming because they're so possessed by the tragedy of the dairy. But surely you can. I feel like I'm privileged and I can go, all right, you know, Mr. Whippy can pull the lever one more time. But I can handle the financial burden of this.
Yeah.
But that child doesn't. I mean, you can't. There's no.
I love the idea of you saying that to a kid who's just freaking out.
At the ice cream man.
And you're like, I can understand you're upset at the dairy, but Mr. Whippy can pull one more.
And I can handle the financial burden of this.
You know what I mean, though? Like that's awful. Like that.
Yeah. And his name's actually Epicurus. All right.
Ice cream man fucking comes round in ice cream van, whatever tune. Oh my god, that is funny.
Good image. Yeah.
Like that. Cheers. 99, please, pal. Nuts and flake. Cheers. Falls out at hand.
Right, yeah, and then Alfie's on the scene.
And then what is it?
But you see, what, the kid drops the ice cream, and you
Well, it's just the notion that dairy is replenishable, you know, and we can recreate.
Can I see the kid's face?
Yeah, no, but it is, you know, the machine. It's not magic. There is, you know, chemistry going on, which is still present.
I like the idea of that being the ice cream van owner. You know what I mean? That's what they say to the kid. It's not someone just in the queue.
Right.
That's what they say to the child if it ever happens.
philosophical ice cream.
Yeah.
Businessman.
It's happened before. He knows that I can just pull another one.
Yeah, the first time it ever happened, it was stunned. It was like, oh my God, he was as upset as a little kid. But over time, he's realised that the financial burden of the ice cream.
Socrates soft scoop. Serves it in a little scroll. But yeah, stupid.
No, I did like that. Alfie,
Yes.
you're a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, sort of. Well, I'm on my way there. I don't know.
When did you start? When did you begin?
So I kind of have a strange trajectory. I sort of did a very small amount of gigs when I was like 17. I was still just like in my first year at college, and I was just curious. And so I just turned up. I didn't really write. I didn't know that was how you kind of wrote and stuff. So I just turned up at the gig, and I was like, okay, well, what did I do? I get to the mic, and I was like, okay, well, I was on the train earlier. Let's see if I can talk about trains.
Oh, wow.
But I used to do it at like gong shows because they're the only play like the shows where you can get kicked off.
Yeah.
They're the only ones that I knew how to get on.
Yeah.
So it was just awful.
Yeah.
It was so much silence, and like it was just terrible. So that was my initial thing. Sorry.
You just get your
And
twat in that
yeah,
mic, pal.
it's all coming out.
You give it like a few 1-2 so far.
A little
So
bit of anger at microphones. No, it was bad, and then I sort of like started again properly when I got to uni, and then I was like I had a plan, and I had to write punchlines and do sort of weird things like that. So I sort of do stand up, but it's still like
'Cause
here and there.
I would describe your style a bit like Bill Bailey.
I've not seen Bill Bailey. He's got a little piano. I've got no piano.
Yeah, but
I need
he's
a banjo.
quite surreal.
Yeah, it's
Like,
definitely
you know,
surreal.
you do jokes like about a vending machine where people can pick the joke and it like falls out the machine, and like my mind does not work that way. You know what I mean? But for you, it does, and the way in which you do it, it works. It translates. But you like it's whimsical seems a bit too soft of a word, but it is.
Yeah, I'm glad because I want to scare people. I don't want it to be like willy dilly. I want the audience to be a bit scared of me at the same time. I also make it kind of silly.
Like, do you mean like scared, like nervous, or like scared of you?
Just like
what's going to happen.
a bit on edge. I think it's more fun.
That's my
when you're on
style.
edge.
yeah. What I was going to say. So what's the goal? What is the dream? Is it like stand-up comedy specials on Netflix, or is it like writing stuff for TV, or is it acting? Like, what is it you want to
I
do?
don't think I can act. I think I'm too. I don't care enough about how other people feel. On average, like I don't want to be anyone else. I'm kind of happy. Like I kind of like being. I don't know what if the character's less boring than me. That now I'm trapped in a boring guy for 4 seasons. Very arrogant. That's how I feel.
That's absolutely fine.
Stand up, I get to do what I want. I can just think, maybe rabbits, and then I can go and.
No, I agree with that. That's why I like stand up. I think
stand-up.
I never used to like. I used to do a lot of acting. I never used to like being told what to do because I would always have the similar thing. Like, I don't really think
any
that's
moment
right.
I can do whatever on stand up. Like I can just change direction or whatever.
And you're responsible for it. Then if it goes wrong, it's your fault. And that's what I mean. Like
Emotionally,
Yeah.
I quite like that.
I think one word that springs to mind when I think of you on stage is What a treat.
That's 3 words, but no,
Oh, yeah.
those kind of catchphrases, which I'm kind of known for, are just me like dealing with the fact I die so much that the audience have to like me a little bit. So if I say what a treat, it's just like an evolutionary thing where a punchline will die and I'll go what a treat, and because everyone's going that didn't work, they kind of like it.
Yeah.
So everyone thinks that I'm like this guy who's like, oh, I'm gonna have all these catchphrases. It's just me trying to fill air where like punchlines died.
But I think you're enjoyable to watch on stage. But
Oh, yeah.
I think because it is so surreal at times, I wouldn't say it's mainstream.
Not yet.
Yeah, but yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. But like the idea of that in front of like drunk people at times must be interesting for you seeing their reaction and also them being like, a vending machine, like what's going on? Like I'm coked up, like
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
People, I've seen some people like look at their beers like, am I really pissed? And this
Yeah,
guy's
yeah.
actually normal, or is he kind of
Yeah.
it's not? I kind of pride myself on I'm not scared of any room. Like I still feel like no matter what you should be, I'm still a human being.
yeah.
Like and I'm not being rude. So surely there's a giggle to be had. So I'm not sort of like, oh my god, this audience, they don't get me. I'm so clever. I just sort of go like, oh, that's a shame.
That'd be a good name
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
show. A giggle to be had.
There's a lot of
There's
charm.
a giggle
You've
to
got
be
a lot
had.
of charm when you're on stage. You're likable. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's
It
just
gets me through.
Yeah.
Even if they're a bit unsure, they're like, he's
Yeah.
going for it.
exactly.
you know.
But it's just the concepts are mad.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of. I think the vending machine was very. I just try and experiment as much as I can because I think it's a
Nothing wrong with that, mate.
yeah. Because then you just like, you know that you've got something that one day something might happen.
Yeah.
And it's just like you got just in case.
So
I was just about to say, are there any comedians who you take inspiration from?
Mitch Hedberg, he's like an American comic.
I know, yeah.
He's like brilliant. He's not actually very well known in the UK, but he's sort of one-linery.
Yeah.
But he's
Very good writer.
like completely like he can talk about anything and it will still be accessible whilst also being like you would never have thought about it that way. Like guaranteed, not like maybe. Like he's got a joke about how limes float in his drink, and then when he's on a boat, if it capsizes, he'll reach for a lime. Like it's so
Yeah.
simple, but it's so accessible, but it's still you'd never think of that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like that to the pinnacle because people say that like, oh, I've never thought of that, but that's because they're thick. Usually, I don't know. If I read the comments and it's like, God, he's just saying what everyone's thinking or whatever. You sort of think it's just cliche. But Mitch Hedberg, I think.
Do you like Andy Kaufman?
Yeah, I love Andy quite.
I'm gonna say I think you like him a
lot.
lot. He's not necessarily like you, but I think his main focus is enjoying himself.
Yeah, this
And
is
like,
niche.
yeah.
This is like 80s.
Yeah, no, I love
like
Andy Kaufman. Like
alternative
he's
circuit. He's brilliant.
inventor of anti-comedy, isn't he?
He's so I feel like there's so many comics in like America that the British scene would love, but because it gets pinned down by people like Chappelle or whatever, or people go like, oh, it's just aggressive, or it's quite misunderstood. I think the American scene.
yeah,
You like your American comics, don't you?
yeah. I think
Who do you
we've
like,
probably got my favourite's Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor.
But like, I've said this so many times, and I can feel his eyes rolling. But you know what I mean? Just because I've got some fucking culture.
Even he, like you wouldn't if you went to like a British open mic. Very few people would mention Pryor. I feel like.
Yeah, but I think he is regarded as like the best by so many of the greats already. And I think
Including
what's yeah.
You and your reflection. That's it.
I mean, he is, mate. Honestly, Chappelle, Chris Rock talks about him. I don't want to talk like too much about comedy, but like what's good about him is it's timeless. Like you can watch it now, and it's still you don't go, God, that's aged poorly. You know what I mean? And I think that's a good thing. If you can deliver a joke that someone could laugh at now as they did 50 years ago, whatever, you're like, wow, that's a good piece of stand up, and it's just relatable. And he was really personal. That's what I enjoyed the
Would you
most.
say he's a good writer?
Yeah, he must be. Yeah.
Because I reckon we do some good writing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
With
I
the all
like
made
that.
up story. I was just trying to tie it back in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You thought I was going to try and take the piss or
No.
something then.
Yeah,
didn't you?
Usually, mate. Usually, you know what I mean?
I thought you were a Roy Chubby Brown fan.
No, I gave up on him years ago.
That'd be funny for a couple of years.
No,
that would.
he's gone a bit too PG for me.
Right, let's get into this. This is going to be all made up with Alfie Carter.
It's all made up, baby.
Right, and we're back in.
I don't know. Hey, here we go. Buckle up. I don't know what's
I thought you thought the sofa was going to shut you up then and then spit you back out again.
on me.
Right, Alfie. So welcome to the All Made Up podcast again. We are going to be making an all made up story together. All four of us. You're going to be the lead writer.
Great.
We're your assistants, and we're going to get through it. In front of you, you've got 3 pots, okay? Green one, red one, yellow one. That's going to be a start line, end line, and some lines in between for throw us a few curveballs and swerveballs for the story. With me so far?
Yeah.
Before we jump into them, we're going to create a character which is going to be sort of the protagonist or antagonist of our story. What would you like them to be called?
I'm really interested in people who've dedicated their whole lives to sitting in like a cubicle. You know, so like really like,
Office cubicle or toilet?
Office cubicle. They're the more common. So Stephen Whimpersmith.
Stephen Whimpersmith.
That's his name.
Stephen Whimpersmith.
Okay.
And,
I imagine he's receding.
He's he's all in every way imaginable.
Like me.
Toenails are receding. Like
His toenails are
He's
receding.
on the way out.
Has he worked at the place he works for that for a long time then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He's part of the what they say, part of the woodwork. Where, you know, he's the
So Stevie Whimperson.
Stephen Whimperson. Yeah.
Not Stevie, sorry.
Steve.
Yeah, that's too casual. That.
Yeah.
Stevie.
Steve Whimperson.
Steve, yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen?
He goes by Stephen actually.
Yeah, so
Stephen.
even if you were like Stephen.
Stephen with a PH or a V?
PH.
Right, okay.
Yeah. If the wife is angry at him, then she can go Steve. But
Also, she uses a shorter for
Yeah,
angrier, like Steve.
try and get to the argument. You know, try and get to the problem quicker.
Okay,
She's very
nice.
pragmatic.
How old is Stephen?
Sort of 58.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
he's lost the concept of age in his life. You know, it's been so homogenous that he's just sort of, you know, every year's the same, and it's just he doesn't celebrate birthdays really, but he gets the cards at the office.
Is he even though someone can be boring like that, is he content in the boringness, or is he feeling like life's a bit too mundane? Like, what's his personal feelings right
I
now?
think he's forgotten what pleasure feels like. So
Right.
it's just a matter of sort of the next email and you know, the next tooth to brush. Kind of, he's at that kind of stage. He's just, you know, he's autopilot. He's not even autopiloting because he doesn't even know he's moving.
Okay.
So it's really Stephen's in a bad way.
I know so many people like that.
Just quickly, how old's his wife?
They met at school.
So she's 57, 58.
50, yeah, same.
And does she work? She retired?
No, she's been able to live. You know, she hasn't really been working, but she's picked up hobbies. She volunteers at the local charity shop.
Yeah.
They have a dog with 3 legs, which is sort of burden on her time, so she spends a lot of time looking after that.
Okay.
So she's got bits and pieces to do, but it's not that she's lazy or doesn't want to work. It's just again, no desire. It's just trying to feel like.
And can we put a name on the wife?
Carolyn. Go Carolyn.
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 Right, so we've got Carolyn and Stephen.
Whimpersmith.
Stephen, Whimpersmith. In the office, what is the job? What is the job he actually does in the cubicle?
It's got to be very. I think Stephen. It can't be HR related. He's not. He just again like he's not an empath. He doesn't sort of he's been involved in a few cases, but only by accident.
Yeah.
Said the wrong word. But I think he works in sort of strategy, investment strategy, something sort of.
He's competent at his role.
Oh,
though.
he's brilliant.
Right,
He's
okay.
top
Yeah.
of the chain. I mean, he's prized possession of HSBC. He's sort of
Right, okay,
Okay.
so it's HSBC.
So
Yeah.
that's what I was going to ask. Is he sort of like a person that, because you get them people in offices sometimes where people get promoted around them, and he's at a decent level, but he probably could have gone a bit further up if he'd pushed for it, or he says he's quite content. I imagine he's earning decent money, but he probably could have flown to the heights of HSBC if
No,
he
he's
wanted.
flying.
Oh, no, he is flying.
He's like top.
absolutely flying. I mean, this guy's brilliant.
Oh, right. So, okay.
And he hierarchy's irrelevant. He just turns up. He looks for the best, oil. Who's got the best deal? Exxon, is their stock
Right.
plummeting? We're in. Well, then the analytics.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is just the idea of progression is irrelevant because he's
So
got
rich.
to get the right deal, and the workplace is just a bone. It's just superfluous.
Okay.
He just has to.
You know what character? Have you ever seen The Big Short?
Yes.
Christian Bale's character in The Big Short.
Yes, that's a great
Yeah.
shout.
Yeah, it reminds
Yeah.
me of him a bit.
Yes,
He's just
yeah.
like unbelievable at his job, but at the same time, just so.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like Christian Bale.
How does he look?
Not at all.
How does he look though?
Oh, well, I think you know the kind of man whose tie is kind of concealed by one of his chins.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
He's kind of
Heavy set.
heavy set.
Yeah.
And well, people don't see him much because he's got the do not disturb sign on his little. He's got like a private cubicle.
Has he earned that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he has.
Yeah.
HSBC's doing well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he's-
a wall
he-
for each
yeah.
10 years.
It's the only cubicle that's got a roof. Yeah. He has to
He's
dock
sealed
to
in.
get in. Like,
Yeah. I imagine he looks a bit like Kevin from The Office.
Could be.
Is that because he's a bigger guy? He's sort of receding, and
I haven't seen The Office.
I mean,
Yeah,
oh,
fine. What,
he's not a good-looking guy. Anyway.
Are we going with the generic sort of grey suit? Is he wearing suited and booted for work?
Yeah, you
or
know what? He's grey suit, but he likes a like the what's it called?
Lining.
The lining. He likes colourful lining, but he doesn't show anyone.
I can't imagine
Yeah.
it's a fitted suit though. I imagine it's quite baggy.
I mean, if it was a fitted suit, it looked dreadful. Remember, he's very sort of
Oh yeah,
irregularly shaped.
exactly, yeah.
yeah.
So he just wants to hide as much of his sort of
Okay.
you know.
But that flair, it sort of indicates he's got a bit of a flair somewhere. If he likes the internalness of the sort of the.
Yeah.
I think you're getting through to something. There is. I think there is a candle burning, but I don't even know if he knows it's there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
There-
yeah.
there is
Okay.
hope potentially.
And when is this set? What year?
This is the eternal story. I feel like he's still alive now. I think.
Okay,
He's
so
out
this,
there.
but let's just say 2024, yeah?
So 2020. He doesn't. Again, he's lost concept of time.
It's present. It's just like
Yeah.
sometime
Yeah.
present.
His cubicle hasn't
Right
changed.
now.
He hasn't put a photo. Oh
Yeah,
no,
he's-
he's got one photo of his kids.
He's still got one of them like cream coloured keyboards. You know what I mean? Like
really
massive keys on it.
Ma-
Yeah.
The mouse with the rubber
With the
ball in
ball
it.
in the
yeah,
bottom.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
But there's no letters. He's been there that long. He doesn't need letters on his keyboard. He just
The worn in.
That is funny. Yeah.
no letters on there. He's like, do I do one? No, I know what I'm doing with it.
Yeah.
And it's just, anyone ever takes his keyboard, they wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to use it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
On-
It's
under
his.
his desk.
Unstealable.
Do you know you get like your hands in Hollywood like that? Just
Yeah.
his feet. It's like
But it's not been done. It's just years of it being there.
just wearing down. It's
Yeah.
just pure concrete. If anything, you can see the floor below.
Yeah, I like that.
That's funny. Yeah.
And whereabouts is this? Is it like Manchester? Is it?
No, it is central. Like everything around him is bustling. There's Christmas trees going up, but he just gets on that.
So is it, we say Manchester?
Yeah, let's go Manchester.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it's like a lot of vibrant city, a lot going on.
How does he travel to work? How does he get there?
He gets like he's got like he drives. He drives himself. Doesn't put the radio on. Always has the windows all the way up, even in summer. And he just takes the same route. Doesn't never beeped in his life. Like very just trying to get there.
Yeah.
Stops at red lights. Doesn't accelerate at yellow. Like he just.
Is it almost like the same? The autopilot is just driving, but he's not really looking. He just knows the route inside out, and
He's a
he's
brilliant driver. He's a brilliant man. That's it's a clinical.
Yeah.
You know, this is
Yeah.
a contradiction in him. Is that he's very skilled,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you know, as I said, doesn't even need to beep because he preempts. Because
Yeah.
he's a stock market investor. He's very good at predicting.
like
sort
Jason
of-
Bourne, but just like not looking like
Overweight.
Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
Overweight and dull.
Right, I think we've got a nice bit of flesh on this character. Would you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah.
A lot of flash.
Yeah. And we'll add some more, but I reckon we get our opening sentence.
Just do it.
So in the green pot there, there's a blank. When you pick one out, pop in the name Stephen and say the rest of the sentence.
And I'm just taking it at random. Yeah.
Pick one at random.
Look, yeah.
Stephen Whimpersmith went to the audition with purpose.
Oh.
Okay. Wow.
Right.
This is difficult.
Yeah. But before we go any further, if you pick up one of the red ones, Alfie,
Yep.
and we're going to keep that one out, and this is where the story's going to end, and this is what we're working towards eventually.
The war to end the world had begun.
The war to end the world had begun.
Okay.
It could be.
It could be massive or small.
Do you know what it could be? It could be him.
Yeah.
It could work towards him. I think he gets to the point where he's like Armageddon. You know what I mean? He's like the Terminator.
Yeah.
He
Just-
he initiates it.
That's just an idea.
Yeah.
Potentially. Well, let that simmer.
Say marinate.
Just let that simmer, marinate.
What is the audition he's going for? Is it a passion that he's got? What's the?
Well,
Is it?
I think it's a big leap to say he auditioned because this is a man who's had the same routine. I mean, different holidays, different chalets. He uses different chalets at the different ski resorts, so there's a little bit of bit of change. But I was imagining when I read about the audition that he got dragged to go to his daughter's year 2 nativity,
Right. Okay.
and something, a spark was lit deep down, and that candle we talked about is going to become a wildfire. But we need to work out what it was that he saw, and like I don't know. I just feel like he went to something and he thought he was dead and he hated it. He was, I'm not going to go to this, and then suddenly it was.
I've got it.
He didn't know why.
It's in nativity.
Yeah.
So I reckon the teacher goes, "Listen, the donkey's cancelled. We need somebody who can carry 4 kids on the back."
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And then maybe he gets he's like, Dad, and he's just like, no, I don't want to do it. And he does it, and he gets this flair for being on stage. That candle sort of relights, and he's the only one.
I like that. What I'm going to ask, is he a religious person?
Well, the best school in the area for his children was a Christian school, and he puts education very highly. So he can get by with it. He's not really. No, he's not religious.
He's not religious.
He doesn't
just
hate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got an idea. Right. I think because he's so good at what he does, right, he is a bit of an asset in like the financial industry. Like he's, like Steve Jobs in tech, that type of like. Stephen Whimperson. Mate.
Yeah.
Whimper Smith, yeah.
It's on his name badge, Harry.
Yeah.
Harry never remembers anyone's name.
Victorious.
I think the audition he goes for is basically entry to a very select group of elite people.
Okay.
Right. And the idea is that they know something is brewing in the background, like the idea of some sort of maybe Illuminati thing. There's like a galactic ship that it could potentially get. I'm just saying he offers something that would be a key part of any civilization or group of people that had to restart anything elsewhere, and that's what I think he goes to the audition for. Myself,
just read it word for word again for us, Alfie.
Stephen Whimpersmith went to the audition with purpose.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So
What about? This is my suggestion. He's not auditioning. He is the one doing the audition. He's like the one the auditioning for.
Yeah.
So this is a suggestion, but not what we have to go with. You know, like when you do work role play.
Oh yeah.
And he's the one they're having to impress. So he's sort of like the client maybe, and he's sort of getting people to audition, and he's trying to find the next him because he knows he can't do it much longer for whatever reason. You know what I mean?
Okay.
There's like, he's the best that there is, but the conflict is he has to stop doing it. You know what I mean? So it sort of drives us forward with something. But Alfie, you're going to take the reins. What do you think? What are you feeling?
I like that last suggestion of him. He's analytical and he's looking for the other person who he sees to sort of. But I'm still taken by Stephen becoming like a ballerina aficionado or something.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a nice story of rejuvenation and his kids. I mean, it's a happy. I'm writing the Disney story. You're writing the Kafka novel. So I don't know. It's difficult.
Well, but you just pick one. I'm happy ballerina or
God, I didn't know.
The donkey. That's the donkey.
or the donkey.
Yeah. I quite like that.
Or the intergalactical.
Yeah. I like that being like it's like a closed group, and the idea of like if your phone beeps and this thing comes up, you got to get to this airport and we're fucking off now because the war to end.
But then he's dealing with the same his own kind of people. Like I want to see I want to see him thrust into like a flamboyant drama teacher, getting him to do star jumps and stuff.
But let's go for that, Reed.
I want him to because I like the idea that his daughter saves him because it's sort of
Okay, let's go.
Right. Okay.
Nice.
So he's been to nativity. He's seen his daughter. This candle has been lit inside of him, and it's going to start roaring. So he's seen that. What's his first instinct? Is it to go on like an online group and trying to find out local like theatrical productions what are in the area, or is it a film role he's going for? Is he, I'm going to become an extra and like work my way up? What type of acting is it he's into? Does he want to be in a nativity himself?
I think it starts as like a little conversation while he's making a coffee in the office.
Right. Okay.
And then someone kind of goes like,
his foot starts tapping.
The microwave bings and he kind of does a little like, whoop, like he just gets a little bit of zang in him. He just celebrates a little bit at the coffee being hot. So I don't know. It's just like this kind of more like funky side to him. Just starts brewing and he doesn't know why.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we elaborate on what else might happen in the office, which just sends a little sort of shock to him?
Like the printer, like when it's printed, it's quite rhythmic.
Yeah.
And he starts kind of like,
just
bopping his head a little bit.
Is he trying to subdue it and hide it, or is he just sort of like this is happening?
Yeah, that's a good question, Stephen. What are you doing? I don't think he does.
Maybe he picks up on like rhythmic sounds just in general around the office. So it's like the printer, there's like a pen tapping, right, keyboard, fingers on the keys and stuff like that. And it's like this like orchestra of, rhythmic office noises coming together.
And he's watching the stock going up and down in front of him, and it's all suddenly the symphony of sort of motion.
And he's in his booth, and he just kind of like rises up above, and everyone's heads are down like that, but he's like biting his lip, you know what I mean, like going for it.
Well, a big company like HSBC could probably have a theatre group internally.
Yeah,
they could have an internal theatre group, and it maybe
I wouldn't bank on it.
That was good. That was good.
Turn off the cameras. Yeah.
We're done.
No, maybe it's like an internal sort of. Do you want him to be like famous, or do you want him to be like do his passion? What do you want?
I want him to. He's setting up the first ever HSBC theatre production of like Willy Wonka or something.
Okay.
Like, so he brings to the workforce a guy who no one ever talked to, and you don't think.
Well, I like
sorry.
that, but what I'm
Yes.
thinking is there's like a musical about everything these days, isn't there? There's like a musical about. I mean, there's one coming out about Gareth Southgate. Have you seen that one, which is out at the moment?
Yeah.
There's a musical about Gareth Southgate and the England squads and previous managers. What about if it's a musical about he knows the ins and outs of HSBC?
He does.
So what about instead of like putting on a production with HSBC stuff, it's like it's about HSBC the musical, and like people are like,
Yeah.
and like what do people think about that in the office? You know, loads of spit then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's been writing it for years.
Yeah.
Secretly, and it's like a document on his
On his
laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he got the when he seen his daughter up on that stage, that was her first nativity, and he's
Yeah.
thought, if my daughter, I'm so proud of her, if she can do that and stand up in front of all these people,
Yeah.
like what have I been waiting
What
for?
have I been doing?
Yeah.
What have I been waiting for? But obviously he's a bit self-conscious potentially about his size and how he looks, or
He's
not.
that big. He doesn't. I mean, he's never known himself to be any different. He's never thought about his body really. He's just
Right,
like
okay.
knows what he's good at. But I think he does understand there's a bit of like he's a bit not built for the world. So he starts going to training. Maybe he does like little things at home. He does like sing-alongs when his family's out. Like he's just trying to start like
The radio's on the car.
yeah. He turns
The
the radio on.
little differences, like the radio's on the car. But I just the thing was, goes to an audition.
Yeah,
So maybe there's like a talent thing for a new musical.
right.
And
Okay.
maybe he's like, do you know, and he sends his script off just on the off chance. And he's
Or
like, it'll never go anywhere. It'll never go anywhere.
that, or like the flip side of it is, if he did the HSB music and he was the director or whatever, and he was putting it on, once again he's going to the audition with purpose, auditioning the fellow members of staff
Yeah.
who are coming to the production. So he's still got the power.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
And he's like, yeah, Katie from HR.
Yeah.
She's going to be the this and yeah.
He goes up to it. He goes up to Katie. He goes, Katie, I think you've got a beautiful voice. I've heard the way you talk.
Yeah.
Figures to the clients, and I think if you just put that into like a musical rhythm, we could really get.
And he gets them together and says to him, right, okay, for the audition, there's a song that I've written for this musical, and I need you all to perform it, right? And the music kicks. He goes da 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 banking. You can get it with us. I said banking. Get your money in a trust. I said banking. We can give you a mortgage because it's fun to bank with us at HSBC. It's fun to bank at HSBC.
So it's
I'm
not-
doing A.
Yeah. So it's not original music then?
Yeah, no, it's not original.
This is for the audition.
Yeah.
This is the
It's a
audition.
jukebox musical.
Yeah.
And I think as he's doing that, a few people have done A, and he's like out, right?
not got the talent he's looking for.
Yeah,
I think there's more in at the moment, and some funniness in his recruiting of the people who he wants on board. You know what I mean? Like, who does he want to play his lead? Is he playing the lead himself? Like, is there anybody in the office that is like?
I think it's a bit of like a Lin-Manuel Miranda sort of thing, or he's written. It's about his life. Like, so I think he's written himself as a protagonist, like as the lead role.
What do you think, Alf?
Yeah, I think he's written this production where it starts off, the stage is dark, like the curtain lifts, and it's just what a man sat at. Well, he's got one of those really expensive chairs that helps the back, and it's just him typing away slowly, and then so it starts with him center stage, but I think he's also still directing it.
yeah.
Maybe it is about him.
Maybe it's called Cubicle.
Cubicle, yeah.
You know, and it's a cubicle musical, you know what I mean? But something in like the opening scene is it's dark, and then this light comes on, and it's just a guy in a cubicle. You know, yeah, and yeah, there's obviously like there's it's like the people behind finance. You know what I mean? There's like there's more to
The
just
workhorses of the economy.
there's
We're
more,
so proud
more
of.
to numbers.
What is the story that he wants to tell about his life? What is the story that he feels like? Because obviously, if it's about him, what does he need to get across to the people? What does he want to share in this musical?
I
Do you
think
think it's regrets? Do you think it's regrets? And maybe that's what the show's about, him living his life that he would have maybe
it's the
lived.
starting of the regrets, and or I think it should be about him ending up. I don't know. It's tricky. I think he ends up doing a lot of fun activities and extracurricular things. So it's just this progression of people being nice to him, trying to be, no, I'm focusing on the stocks, but then eventually they sort of crack him.
Yeah.
It's
He's
sort
like,
of an old
the
story.
real investment should be in yourself.
In yourself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the curtain fades black.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that story. That's
Money
a-
rains down on the crowd and they fucking snap for it like that.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So at the moment, we're at the point where he's going to do a musical about himself, and it features the HSB staff who are going to be the fellow actors.
Yeah.
Or it's not, or is it a one-man show?
But who's he auditioning?
Yeah, that's it. He's auditioning his staff, isn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah, so he's done that. He's auditioned his staff. He's got his cast.
Yeah.
He's got his cast. How
And
many's in the cast? Are we talking like...
There's normally like 20 to 30 people in a cast, isn't there? If you've got ensemble
I
and
feel
stuff.
he's really picky though, because he only goes for the best, because that's his sort of character.
Yeah.
It's quite a small cast, and
Multi-role.
And he is picking from the office at
And
HSBC.
it's ironically the only like 5 people nearest his cubicle, because he's never talked to anyone else. So
Right.
it still has got the failings of him sort of built into it.
Yeah.
So maybe they're not very talented. They're terrible, but he's still taking it seriously. But it's falling apart. No one's they're not selling any tickets. John, who he thought would be a brilliant sort of fairy godmother, turns out to be a bit stiff. So it's kind of got like maybe it entirely fails, and then he just returns back to the cubicle.
Well, let's work towards that.
Sorry.
I think
Yeah.
at the moment
Yeah.
we've got a cast,
Smaller cast,
a smaller
He
cast.
knows well.
I like the idea of there being 8 in the cast, because if you had his cubicle in the middle, you'd have 8 people surrounding him,
Yeah.
wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think there's 8 in the cast, plus himself as the director as well, and an actor, that's 9. We're at the start of the process.
Yeah.
He's written it. We'll find out what that story is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But let's pick up one of the yellow ones.
Cool.
So this is like a bit of a curveball for the story. So if you read this one out, Alf.
They had a habit of biting their knuckles.
They have a bit of biting their knuckles.
Right.
Okay, spanner's been thrown in the works. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
point.
Okay.
And this is Stephen who had the habit.
Well, it could be
Oh,
somebody who's
it's
getting
Stephen
annoyed
himself.
at.
They're not okay.
So it could be anybody who's got this habit.
What if they're all really socially anxious, financial, oh god, the stocks, and then they get on stage, and then suddenly they're so anxious that they all start biting. It's like they've all got nervous sort
What
of.
if because they're at the
anxieties.
computers like that so often to actually like straighten the fingers out, they do. You know what I mean? It's just like, and that is it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing, right? So what about this, right? He's so good at his job, isn't he?
Brilliant.
He's so good at HSBC, like, and people don't really know how he is that good and like what he puts himself through in order to be that good. And one of them things is sort of like, I imagine he wears the arthritis gloves, you know, like because
Got the good chair for his back.
he got the good chair for his back.
Yeah.
He's got a foot massager under the desk.
I've had my spine replaced 3 times.
And like
Your
that,
whole spine replaced.
because
Can you imagine that operation? Well, bitch, we put it back in backwards last time. It's so embarrassing.
well, imagine like if the habit typically would bite your knuckles would be that, wouldn't it? It'd be like-
Yeah.
But the idea of him like,
Yeah, just
He does
Yeah.
it strategically. Like
Yeah.
he's
Straight-
optimized. and
straightens
the
them out.
knuckle
Yeah. And that's what he's shouting at them all. He shouts at them all and goes, do you know what I've had to do to get to this point?
well, I'm thinking right. So when is the show going to be put on? Like, let's put a timeline on it. So let's say we're at
a week, a month,
rehearsal 1. Okay.
I can.
4 weeks away.
at the start of the 3rd quartile. So like September. So after the big, they've
Yeah.
done their big closing deals of the 2nd quartile.
So should we say it's the end of the financial year?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
And-
before tax, or like before, just before.
Yeah,
And
and
the
this
final
is
shares, May. That's it depends what company you work for. Could
Yeah,
be,
yeah, but
could be
we'll-
Q4, could be Q1.
okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
But if we were just putting like
Yeah,
a week, 2
yeah.
weeks,
If
3
we're trying to have
weeks,
fun with it,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like-
let's just say
Yeah.
it's
6 weeks away. 6 weeks
it's
away.
6 weeks away.
Bit of leeway, but there's a job to be done, and he knows that.
What I want to know is when are they finding time to rehearse? Is it during work hours or is it like after hours? Is it putting a strain on his family? Like, what is how deep is he going into this?
I think they're rehearsing in the office, but secretly over Google, like cameras, right?
Yeah.
So it's
I
like,
don't
it's
know
like
what a big
he'd
Zoom
be
call.
like, Jerry, it's your line. and then he's going, I've always wanted to work in finance. And he's like, a bit more enthusiasm, please, Jerry. And then people come across and he puts the spreadsheet back on, like,
They do that thing on Teams where you put them in an auditorium.
yeah.
Just the heads are up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's funny.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're sat there going,
Yeah. Jerry, if you don't improve, I'm going to have to put you into a breakout room on your own. And I think they're very quiet auditions that had between like are the meetings. Everyone's like, Stephen's team have got a lot of meetings in. You know what I mean? Like
Working hard. That's what he does.
I think he's gone. Is he the higher up? So there's people higher up than Stephen at HSBC.
Yeah, sure.
He's just sort of like the best in the pen of all.
Yeah.
So would he be like to the higher ups? I'm creating a task force. You know, to sort of
it's a split. It's a splinters group.
Yeah, it's like I
when I think of a task force, I think of people with guns. Right? So I'm creating a task force.
Yeah, but he's trying
We're
to
going to go to NatWest.
He's created like this investors task force, and they're sort of like checking out something at HSBC, and they need this particular team. So we're going to be in a lot of meetings.
Yeah.
Like, so if you see some irregularities, that's why.
Yeah.
But
Some of my staff might be wearing camo paint, right?
Yeah.
The main thing is, you don't want to be recognised on webcam, okay? I'm all about covert operations. I'm not wearing shoes in the office. You won't hear me coming.
He's got like a list of requests, like a really weird request. He's like, I need a room with mirrors all down the side, a spring dance floor, a ballet bar on the side.
But because of how good he is,
That's the point.
they're like, well, yeah, I mean,
Never
whatever.
set a foot wrong, Brian.
Different way of working. At banks, they'll try mad stuff, won't they? Like to improve.
I think they're a bit like, it's odd, but it's Stephen. It's
Yeah,
Stephen.
we trust
like,
him.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, our stocks are going to skyrocket, like because he's that good at what he does.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like Prison Break in a way. He's trying to create this musical, and maybe
He undoes his top button when it starts. He starts loosening up a little bit.
Yeah.
Just more necks revealed.
Slowly,
I like the idea of like a wooden floor in like the conference room. You know, like
Like a sprung dance floor.
sprung dance floor, yeah. And like he's got his like Cuban heels on or something like that. And I just imagine that shot tracking his feet as he's walking along.
Yeah, he does that speech from. He goes, "You want to make it? You got to sacrifice everything." Like he obviously he's never done it before, but he's shouting at these people, going, "You want to make it in this business?"
Yeah, I'm liking this. Right, so they're in the breakout room. The blinds are sort of like turned, so you can't see inside. It's usually a glass room, conference room, but it's all blind. Sprung dance floors in there, and he like how does he? What is it? Rouse the other staff to be like, this is going to be brilliant. Like, what's his speech? Like, I want to know from the horse's mouth why he wants to do this. I don't feel like we've grasped that yet.
Yeah, it's a big leap.
Do you not think it's like a lot of people get to a point in life? It's like it's sort of like a bit of a midlife crisis. It's like it's now or never.
Yeah.
Maybe he's getting his spine replaced. Maybe he's getting his spine replaced in 6 months. And it's his last chance to do something like this.
I think he's leaving the business. So I think he's retiring, and he's seeing this as like,
big bang.
This can be my final hurrah.
Alfie, you get to choose.
And this is just why I'm putting it on.
That's it. That's what I mean. It needs that sort of like reason.
Attention.
But also, you got to imagine, I think that these staff who he's brought in would probably be like, this is so weird.
Yeah.
Because they've never expected this of him. Because he's kept himself to himself all this time.
Yeah.
So what are they thinking? Like, what does he have like a
Well, he's auditioned them. They're in.
Yeah,
so
they're in.
They've
Yeah.
chosen to do it.
Yeah.
So they obviously believe in the project.
No, but do they think it's going to help them get promoted?
Yes, he
Maybe,
told
yeah.
the same thing to them that he's told
Yeah.
to the big boss.
Or do they think it's a task force as well?
Yeah. Why do we have to wear camo paint? Just fucking wear it.
Yeah. So is he getting his spine replaced?
So I love the idea of him. You know, he's on his fourth spine. He's wearing it thin. But I do feel like it's a bit of a tragic.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
okay.
like, he's never going to be able to move again. So he writes musical. But it's a lovely image.
It's a horrible image. I'll say.
He's fake. He's not. He's made up. I think he's retiring.
Okay.
And you know, he just saw watching the birth of Jesus Christ. You know, at his local church. It just did remind him that to be like sort of born again.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, the nativity really symbolized it. And so that's his plan. He's doing it for himself, but he realizes he can bring joy to people in other ways, not just through sort of,
Right.
Okay, that's interesting, Alfie, because when I did the nativity, we didn't do the birth bit.
Really?
Yeah, he says he saw the birth of Jesus Christ. Can you imagine the trauma of a school nativity doing the birth? Bloody hell, we almost skip this bit, go straight to being born.
Well, what was you going to say?
We need a prompt.
Yeah, right. So let's get another prompt in there, Ralph. So
Sure.
we've dealt with that first one.
Yellow or?
Yellow again. Yep. So biting the knuckles. We've done. Let's just get this next one.
We really did well with that storm.
Yeah.
The car only had one seat.
The car only had one seat.
Maybe it's a part. It's a bit of what's called when you have a show. It's not a prop. It's a bit of set.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because one of the songs could be about him going to work in silence, and it could be like a
That's
silence song.
That is funny. The idea of someone playing him
Yeah,
in his own car.
I like the
going to
idea.
work. That's
If
funny.
you imagine like, so the stage is bare. The stage is bare. There's one seat. It starts off total darkness. Like you said before, light comes on. Stephen sat there. There's no keyboard in front of him, but he's imitating like that. He's imitating, and the noises you're getting heard around the auditorium. And then obviously we said that he drives in his car the exact same way, pretty simply. 4 actors come on and become the wheels at the side of him. You know what I mean? So it's so minimalistic, the musical, that they're just using pure physicality. So the car only had one seat because there's only him in it, and there's only one seat in the whole musical. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they're all really bad actors. Like, they're all looking around like.
I think they just walk on. I think he'd do it very synchronized. I feel like he's a very pragmatic sort of guy.
Yeah.
It's actually, there's no talking in it. It's songs.
It's typed. It's typed on the screen.
Yeah, and there is zero dialogue.
What's this, like an opera? There's no talking. It's just an opera.
I think it's all done through email.
The Phantom of Finance.
All the dialogue is done through email.
That is interesting.
So there's just a TV with like, as per my last email, and then, but it's still all joyous, but it's still within that corporate setting.
So,
kind regards, Stephen Whimpersmith.
Completely dark in that room, and then the light of a projector, just like illuminates a big square around him.
And
that's the point when he puts his username in, his password,
logs in,
and then whoop. You know what I mean?
I like the idea, right, of there being like a big reveal at the end of it, like a big finale, like, I don't know, like...
He banks it in that West.
Do you think it's an exciting reveal, or do you think it's like a dull reveal like that?
Well, nobody knows...
The last line has to be,
The war to end the world had begun.
So, right, what if he's like a sleeper cell agent, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go.
He's a sleeper cell agent, right? And
just for Alfie, a sleeper cell agent is like a person who gets activated by like a sequence of words. So you could just be a normal person. Someone says,
"You ever seen The Manchurian Candidate?"
No.
Jason Bourne.
I can understand the idea.
No one else.
Like that. And I think he. Because you could cripple someone's economy, obviously, by being in that type of role.
Yeah.
So
because he's that good.
Yeah, he's that good. Maybe he's I don't know, under some sort of government control that isn't British. And
what about if he was compromised at the nativity? So where he's suddenly had this sort of spark to do a musical, it's because he has been activated. He's been activated. So and that's what's prompted him to start like. That's what's come out first.
Yes, because the sleeper cell words were "There's no room in the inn," and he's never been to watch a show before in his entire life.
And then what you're saying, that has been like, and that's how it's just sort of come out for the moment. But what is the sleep? What is who's the person or company?
I'm thinking like big global powerhouses that are problems are like Russia, right? Yeah. So it could be like the Russian government forcing him. It could be North Korea. I'm thinking like, or it could be, I don't know,
New World Order.
You know what I mean?
Scotland.
You could, imagine if it was
Scotland's
Scotland.
having a good, wants to.
Yeah, Nicola Sturgeon.
Have a
fucking take him down, man.
And what about?
Do that again.
That was, you fucking take him down. She just sat there, a little cig on in her house.
What about?
You hate her, don't you?
I don't mind Nicola Sturgeon. She's all right. She's got a wee little fucking bubbly head.
What about if the reveal at the end of the musical is that he's emptied Scotland's bank account? Like the people of everyone who's banks with HSBC in Scotland has their bank account emptied and like put somewhere else. I don't know. I'm just trying to think
the
of
war to start. Sorry, the
war to end the war to end the world had begun.
Right. So
is he trying to cripple the world's economy they
bank everywhere, don't they? HSBC. So maybe
at the end of the play he enters his password incorrectly 3 times, and then nukes go off in every major city in the UK. and then
Could you imagine that?
Cash points.
so every
Could you imagine the
every
stress?
single
You're
financial
covered in
deposit-
plutonium and money. Like,
It's good for a bit, and yeah.
Can you imagine me sat in the office with him going, "Listen, pal, you've had two incorrect passwords."
I like it off. He said nukes go off in every major city in the UK. Like, how many nukes is that
That's a lot.
destroying
They all,
in
and
England?
the HSB, all the ATMs also start detonating.
yeah.
So and it's Russia have plant. So it's the West is being brought down by the East for maybe it was far Russia whatever, and the superpower of the West, the UK, despite recent politics,
Yeah.
implodes, gone.
Yeah.
And it's all because he mucked up his password 3 times because he didn't realize that was his bird. He didn't know that he had that could happen, and because he was so trusted, he never got his password wrong, never set a foot wrong. But because he'd been so busy working on the nativity, on his production, he forgot his password, and it's just so it's just his burden was too great, and he didn't even know he had it.
Right, hang on.
Sorry, is that too much?
No, that's great. Just quickly, the last prompt we had was the yellow one. The last one you pulled out.
The car only had 1 seat.
Right, so we've handled that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but it worked. That was
yeah.
good.
So yeah,
Yeah.
you finish it there.
No, no,
I think we've got to work towards it.
Yeah, we are working towards it. We're just trying to plant a seed of what we're working.
Yeah.
Because
How does the end-
they
how
haven't
does it
put
end
the
like that?
show on yet. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
all rehearsals. This is just him. Him at the moment is devising the play. He's been writing it, but he's devising it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The nukes are still unactive, beneath major bus
Yeah.
stations and
And
things like that.
the thing is to Stephen, all this about the nukes, he just thinks he's writing a musical. Whereas the real reason he's done it is because he was a sleeper cell and has been activated to create this musical.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
To distract him.
Yeah,
Like,
so he's just thinking, this just seems perfectly normal that all these nukes are going to go off in my play that I've made up.
Yeah.
But he was never really...
Yeah, he doesn't realise.
and all the cast is the IT department.
Yeah.
So he's taking all the IT department away, so no one can help him.
No one can correct him. Or
Yeah.
help him
Yeah.
with his password. I feel kind of bad for him. This is his debut show, and it's going to get bad critical
Yeah.
reviews.
Same
isn't
as
it?
the guy who wrote Rent, innit?
But I like this, right? So let's say that we are a week away from the final show. We're a
Yeah.
week away.
Him driving to work, the people come in, opening scene, mapping out his day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's talking costume now. Are they just using costume-wise? Is it just what they usually wear for work at HSBC, or has he bought flamboyant costumes?
I think his shirt's down here by now. They say every week he gets.
I think he undoes one button on his blazer,
Yeah.
and slowly the inner lining's revealed. So you get a flash of orange now,
Yeah.
but slowly the buttons are going down, maybe. But they're still. What do you think, Ben?
No, I think that's great. Yeah, I think they wear their HSBC uniforms. That's where it's set, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're almost like they're not actually in it, are they? They're sort of like they're props, aren't they? They're making the.
I think between the four of us, we could come up with some lyrics now for a song, just like a basic musical number.
About banks,
Yeah. So Ben, if you just sort of like drop a beat,
like a hip hop style. Or,
yeah, just like drop a beat.
yeah.
I'm not
Bang.
certain.
Might just bring you down a bit, Ben. Banks, yeah, banks, yeah,
And you get
yeah,
Harry?
East, Lancs, yeah, West, Lancs, yeah, we're HSB to the C. If you want a bank, you come with me. Don't get a mobile network with 3. I don't, I'm with EE. Invest all my money. It's not funny. Invest all my money. Oh, honey, invest all my money. It's so sunny. Yeah, at HSBC. See me in the window. Come in. Wait. Oh, I've lost my rhythm.
We've
Right.
head
You're
fast.
there,
That
you're
help.
there. See you in the window. Come in the branch. Don't take the pen.
Stick to the rhythm though, Harry.
All right.
Don't take the pen.
Yeah. My type of rapping is off key.
Right, go in the branch. Avalanche. We're not gonna get the Blanche. We're not gonna get the Sanch. Sancho is in HSBC. Can't kick a ball for me. He's at United at the moment, but soon he will leave it. I don't know why it's going about United, but I like the rhythm's great, Ben. HSBC.
If you want to come and spend your money, spend it with me at HSBC. Money, money, money.
Yeah, we need to get the nukes
Yeah.
involved. We need to get the nukes and the
But the
nukes
nukes are
involved.
unknown. How are they part of the theme show?
Yeah, that's the
song?
point.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
That's really brilliant.
Yeah.
yeah.
That was good though.
That really hurt my throat.
You did well
You
though.
got there. You held that together.
I
Yeah.
did. Well, I've got good natural rhythm. You know that one, Alfie? What's so funny about that?
Very nice.
Right, come on, let's work towards this climax.
Right, okay, so that's it's a rap show.
Yeah, it's
which
just
is
a big,
even more of a standout. It's a rap show.
Yeah.
But
this
once
is
again,
another curveball.
they don't actually sing it; it's typed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Boom,
so the
bing,
words
the
coming up on
booms.
the.
So
On
it
the
says boom chicka boom
Yeah.
chicka boom boom
yeah,
boom.
that's like in blue text.
It's almost like an Alexa saying it. You know what I mean?
Come on, how do we get? It's the day. It's the day of the show.
It's the day of the show.
It's the day of the show. It's got to be.
happening.
Yeah.
It's day of the show.
Okay. He's got the nukes.
So maybe all people are taking the money out of HSBC. Maybe it's getting a bit suspicious, and people are like, "Oh, people are saying to him, Stephen, do you know why all these Russian banks are getting bank accounts are getting emptied?
What's this? So go on,
So
sir.
that sort of like to preempt it. Maybe his big boss comes to him and goes, Stephen, I know you're busy working on this special project,
Right,
but do you know why all these Russian accounts are being emptied?
right.
Just because obviously right before the show, maybe they're planning on investing in the show in the future. They've heard how good the show is.
Right, okay.
I think they're taking it to St. Petersburg.
Go on, Harry.
I don't know. I'm thinking like, you know, like a phishing email type thing where it's like click this, you get a reward or
It
something
clicks
like
a
that.
link.
Yeah, I think it's because like phishing with AI is going to go like through the roof with how like sophisticated it looks. So
You won't need a rod, will you?
nice, mate. The amount of dads that are watching this looking over that.
Look at the floor.
Yeah. But I think something comes through which is like whether it be like something. It looks like a phishing email, but it's in relation to his musical. So it could be like download, you know,
Soundtrack, the song we made.
soundtrack, and then he downloads that, and then obviously this like
It changes his passwords on all of his systems.
yeah. But I imagine that, like a really menacing box comes up that just says like activated, and it's like you know what I mean. And you're seeing this map with loads of little pins on it,
Yeah.
and he's like looking at it like that, and then it's like you on the map, it's just going bang, 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 and he sees one near him, and then like sees down the street that it's gone like that, and he's like, they're little nukes, you know what I mean? Okay,
Small nukes.
10 meter blast radius, right? But there's that many of them about that it causes, you know, it causes a big nuke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Well,
thorn
maybe
in
he
the
thinks
side.
it's where people are buying tickets. He keeps looking at all these different regions, going, "Bloody hell, that's going mad, this show." They're buying them from all over the country.
No, I think he opens a phishing email, it activates, and he essentially is he's working for a foreign government that's obviously not part of the United Kingdom, and he's like a suicide bomber. You know what I mean? Because he's going to blow himself up during this.
Yeah.
Steve Whimpersmith, this hasn't it?
Yeah.
So
What a ride.
and I think like it says activate, and it's like thank you for your service, and he's like, you know, grinning at the screen.
He's happy about it.
Yeah, first time,
Okay.
time he was like, oh, you know, this is great.
Power.
And then
And it ends with him logging off. Because they
No,
always
I-
say, don't leave your laptop logged in.
I've got like biblical
Control-Alt-Delete.
destruction in cities. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's-
And this happens on stage for like the end
It's
of
a
the
live show, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's it's a live show,
It's
and
not a
it's
good
just.
show. It's him doing work.
But like the people attending the show, is it just HSBC staff, or is it like the public who have come and bought
No,
tickets?
it's just staff.
It's just the staff.
Mate, bombs are going off in the streets. You know what I mean?
I think
It's a
it's like-
complete flop. He had no idea how the
No.
industry works. He was like, I can do this because everything's gone right for him. He's like, I can do
Well,
this, I can
remember,
do
it's a
this.
special project, so maybe it's time for him to present the special project.
Yeah,
That's why
exactly.
they're all there. They're there. It's like when a company launches a new product and they're all there to see it. And they're
All
always
the
like,
shareholders.
"What
Yeah.
But no Russian
Yeah,
shareholders
it's
because they
suspicious,
know,
yeah.
they
So
know
the
what's going on.
Russians are kicking off.
There's just
In
4 empty
Moscow.
seats that say reserved
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
front.
Russian 1, 2, 3, 4.
The translators all turned
Yeah.
up and they perished. The translators for all the Russians is very sad, actually.
Oh yeah.
Because they were still in the room, they didn't get told.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
this is a tragedy we've written.
Yeah, well, this-
I like how before, Alfie, you said, I want to make this a Disney movie. And it's really not that.
That's what I think, and I think obviously it causes mass destruction, and then there's like a task force that's created in the United Kingdom, right? And they are sent like
From Halifax.
yeah, led by Howard, to go and basically take down the Russians.
Well, if you've not seen the film War Games, where he accidentally starts the countdown for American nuclear weapons, and it ends up being a simulation. In the end, it goes, no one wins, because the minute someone launches a nuclear weapon, everyone will launch one.
Yeah,
So that's what will start the world to end all wars, because once someone launches one, everyone else is going to launch one, because no one knows where they're going to.
But except I think England can't fight back because unluckily there was an ATM next to our nuke supplies. So then it was just they're all our whole offensive.
And we privatised ours probably as well.
Yeah, true.
the banking adverts in that apocalyptic world are insane. You know what I mean? Just being like, haven't got a house, no skin on your knees. Come banking with us.
I like it being like
Shoot lasers at your eyes.
it's a different.
A question mark.
Is your piss glow?
Do you glow?
Like it's another bank which is sort of like activate. You know what I mean? So it's
It's a Russian bank.
All right, okay. But any world bank, yeah.
Yeah, what's a Russian bank?
I reckon it's
They
Monzo.
got
I don't
banks.
trust them.
That I've got mons on me.
No, I've got Monzo as well. Just nobody in it.
Yeah, I just think about like if you just put a bank, it could be a Monzo. You know what I mean? Just so it's something tangible in what way.
Yeah. Crypto.
Right.
No one trusts that.
Yeah, what is it? Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how we end? This is has it ended then or?
Well, the world's ended.
Yeah,
Nuclear.
I think he opens a phishing email, right?
On stage, live.
On stage, yeah. And
Because
it's like,
his instinct kicks in. I've got to respond to this email.
Yeah.
He's trying to act, but
Yeah.
it comes up. He's like, oh my god, there's a new email. Clicks, and Harry like, what?
exactly. What do you think? What do you see on the screen?
Oh,
I've got an image, but it's your story.
damn it! I was hoping you were going to carry this. The as you say, like they're just like a very innocent looking download MP4. And then because
Just a video.
It's video of you. No, it says I've got a picture of you naked. It's like, oh shit, no. Enter this code.
Yeah,
and all of that is on the screen. Typed up.
yeah.
It's like, no.
People think it's part of the musical.
Yeah. So he opens the file, clicks on it, and a box comes up with like the map of the UK.
Yeah.
Loads of little pin drops on it, and eventually it's almost like. It almost looks like very 90s, the type of animation, you know what I mean? It's like...
And then it cuts to his wife and children who are in Russia being like, this is what you get for only buying us iPads and never sharing an emotional bond with us. So it's his family who have brought down the whole UK because they were bitter about his insistence.
Snogging Putin.
Yeah, exactly. Too insistent on working all the time.
Right?
So, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe...
It's a message about, family love.
But yeah, I like that. I was just going to say maybe that was just like a massive metaphor. So the nukes actually didn't go off. And like it was like, this is how you've made us feel.
Yes.
Right. You know what I mean? Because
it was all a dream.
it was like, and that's why...
I'm more creative than I thought.
And that's why you needed to do a musical, because he was like, I need to show them how I know how I've made them feel. So it was like all an emotional sort of
He's like
thing.
Scrooge. He's like Scrooge, isn't it? No, please take me back.
You're so puzzled you at this.
Yeah, that's yeah.
They got a bit. I think we got slightly mixed up. So did the family do it, or he just showed the idea?
He
like,
showed
I
the
understand how you feel.
I understand how you feel because that was part of the show.
If you did this would be fair enough. I've been a dick.
It's the error of his. He's seen the error of his ways.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I need to stop being sort of boring.
And boring. And he's so bad because he, went to boarding school. He was so bad at communicating, growing up. Never taught to grow up. The only way he could do it was behind a computer desk.
Yeah,
like he sat
and
on
he's
stage.
created this extravagant because obviously he's used the creativity in his head, and he's had all these like missiles, nukes, foreign banking, and it's all been just part of this story. Big metaphor about his relationship with his kids.
Yeah.
And the reason why he started it was because when he saw his kids' nativity,
His daughter asked the tree.
it was like, I can't believe what
Well, banks run simulations.
Yeah.
Banks run AI simulations. Maybe he ran that simulation.
Maybe.
That's what happened.
But I think that I like that. I like that ending.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
so
lost, mate.
I'll explain to you when we're.
Yeah.
So basically, it'd be good to sum it. I feel like it's my responsibility to tie this because this is the thing I created.
Yeah.
So basically, this guy, really boring man, awful, brilliant investor. You know, Lockheed Martin. You know, he picked up on the wars in the Middle East. He's got more fighter jet stocks going there, bang, you're flying. But then he goes to his daughter, and he finally sees he didn't want to go, but he did.
To see the nativity.
To see the nativity, he put his scarf on. He doesn't usually wear the scarf; it rubs, but he went because he wanted to look more sort of family, warm, cozy looking. And then he sat there, and then he sees his daughter, blowing in the Bethlehem wind, as the tree, and he goes, "Oh my God, look at that youth!" And I don't even know, I hardly know her name. The iPad 4. It was the iPad 4, iPad 5 that she got every consecutive Christmas. I mean, it filled a hole in my heart, but it only deepened one in hers, and that's what he was thinking. But then he still couldn't communicate that because his mum never really talked to him, and he was just studied all the time. But then he instigates with his trust at HSBC. He says, "Look, guys, I've got a secret thing. I need to do it. This is just for the business. It's going to be great." And then he creates this theatre production where he brings his family and he makes sure they're in, and the rest of the HSBC staff, and he demonstrates that he understands his dedication to his work has led to symbolically the detonation of everything he loves, which like the UK and everything around him, and then
it was just all a dream.
And then he walks into the green room afterwards.
He walks directly to his wife and child, and he walks out.
A really shit hug.
Yeah,
like a really bad hug. I'm gonna try his best.
She kissed him on the cheek.
I've got some cupcakes in the car.
Did you hug the wrong kid?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Nice to see you, Billy. I'm called
Just
Jeffrey.
Gives it a pat on the head because he's
Yeah,
never
yeah.
shown any love.
After this massive musical production about Harry Carter.
She was on the screen.
He takes the iPad and goes, "You don't need that." And he goes, "It's not your kid, that's not even their iPad."
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, that was brilliant. Oh, what an ending.
Right.
I love that.
I like
Ca-
that.
Yeah. I reckon we can easily come up with a name for this dead quick. It's something like You Can Bank on It, or what are we thinking? HSBC.
Invest wisely.
Invest wisely. Invest in your kids.
Yeah.
That's the kids, what a name. That sounds like an advice podcast.
That sounds like what it could be called. The musical.
Yeah. Invest in your kids.
Come
the
and watch
musical.
the smash hit musical. Invest in your kids.
Invest in your kids. 5 stars.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Invest in your kids. You can't have that.
Benny's not very creative.
Yeah,
He just
this is
invest
it.
in your
I mean,
kids.
it's yours, and you are. You are creative, Alfie.
Kind regards. At the end, invest in your kids. Kind regards.
Stephen
Stephen
Invest in your kids.
Whimpersmith.
Kind regards.
Stephen Whimpersmith.
Yeah.
Because he has to put he's always reading that little signing
It's
off.
watermark. It's that
Yeah.
little.
he's got
Invest
a
in your kids,
signature.
not going out with a whimper.
Yeah, that's what a reviewer, a critic would
Yeah.
put.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic performance. The
Very
massive metaphor, which it took me a while to understand. But I really enjoyed the part when he hugged the wrong child.
Was it scripted?
Yeah. Who knows? But yeah, fantastic.
Keep reviewing it. Keep
Oh,
reviewing
keep
it.
reviewing
I want him to throw an iPad
Yeah.
from the wrong child and smash it. You don't need that. Then this kid goes, "It's not even that's my dad."
Keep doing the review. Go on.
Yeah.
You got to pretend you're typing though.
Yeah. It's a really long review.
Hopefully not.
I was kind of rooting for the detonation of nuclear devices from cash points. Sadly, it didn't go that way. Nor did we see any complete musical, considering a lot of the practices were done via Zoom. An amazing story from an ordinary man.
Yeah. It's hard to be a critic, isn't it? You see,
It is, yeah.
They're really
So
brilliant.
is that good?
Yeah.
Critics are really hard-working, really intelligent people.
They are. I think that every
Really
time I get a
exciting
review.
individuals. Really,
Yeah.
really glad. I think they're doing a good thing.
Yeah.
They prop up the creatives, and it's all there. Really.
But that, Alfie, was fantastic.
Yeah, well
Thank
done,
you.
mate. I thought that was
I'm made
so
up.
good.
That's very kind. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
It
it was layered.
It was
So many
lasagna.
layers.
We made lasagna.
Yeah. I'd love to have you back on as well. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah. What have we got to say before we go, Harry and Ben?
Oh yeah, we've got a date for the live show. Is that what we're saying?
Is it locked in?
Yeah, I think it's locked in, yeah.
It's locked
Right,
in.
okay, we'll tell them then.
What date was it?
The 12th, wasn't it? No,
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, the 12th, yeah.
Yeah, 12th of March, we will be doing a AllMadeUp live show in Manchester. We'll be releasing details exactly where it's going to be very, very soon. But it is the 12th of March.
12th of March, we've locked it in.
Yeah. and we've got a guest lined up who you're going to enjoy.
Lock it in.
Let's all lock it in. But we'll release information for tickets on our pages, so just keep your eyes on that. And thank you for watching the pod and listening to it. We had loads of downloads recently in America, in I think like Las Vegas as well. So I don't know if that was like one person or, I don't know, a splinter cell group.
I like the idea of just someone on a slot machine losing all the money and just being like...
Some joy.
I want it to be the Blue Man Group.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
You know them drummers who paint themselves blue? You
No.
never seen them? Is it the Blue Man Group? They're massive.
No,
They're in the Blue Man Group. They smell of egg.
I want it to be the Blue Man Group as well.
Yeah,
thanks.
thank you, Alfie.
Why do they smell of egg?
Because they're using egg-based paint.
Oh, right, okay. Right, that was,
You never heard of the Blue Man Group?
No, never.
Serious?
No.
They're massive.
You say you just keep going, they're massive. As if it's going to like spark.
If, we're probably the dickheads in this situation.
You are the dickheads. They're downloading it.
Well, if you are Blue Man Group, thank you very much. Big fan of your work. But 12th of March, we'll be doing a live show, as you say, in Manchester. So please come and support us. It's our first live show. We want it to be an absolute belter. We've got great ideas for it. And the best thing is, when you come, you can actually suggest lines that we're going to use in the story. But 12th of March, tickets and details will be released very, very soon. Alfie Carter, go and watch him if he's doing a gig in Manchester.
Yeah, I'm all over Manchester. So like Alfie Carter Comic on Instagram.
You win a gig in Fallowfield, don't you, as well?
There's a gig I run that's sort of more student orientated, but in Fallowfield, you'll see like information about it on my Instagram.
House.
House is the venue. Yeah.
And yeah, tell people if you've enjoyed the pod. We appreciate it, don't we?
I'm gonna tell people.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alfie. Yeah.
But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
This has been All Made Up with Alfie Carter.
It's hard.